In this lecture video, we will understand the importance of sensor cloud infrastructure. So here, this image, it explains the concept of sensor cloud infrastructure and compares it with the traditional wireless sensor network. Now here on the left hand side, you can see the sensor cloud infrastructure is shown. A user sends a request through an application. The sensor cloud system selects a suitable sensors from a common pool of sensor nodes or the sensors which are available, such as the temperature sensor, humidity, camera sensor. Then you have soil moisture sensor, noise sensor, and many more. And these sensors may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. And next, the collected data, it is processed and managed in the cloud, and the user receives the required information without owning or managing any sensors. And this approach, it is flexible, scalable, and it is also cost effective and easy to use. Now on the right side of the image, you can see the traditional wireless sensor network approach. In this system, the user must perform many tasks before, okay, that is the before deployment, and after deployment, that is the pre-deployment and the post-deployment. The pre-deployment activities includes the requirement analysis, then sensor selection, hardware purchase, deployment planning, network setup, and installation or the deployment. Then comes the post deployment, that is the after deployment. The user is responsible for the data collection, data storage, then data processing, maintenance and repair, energy management, scalability issues. So here the sensor cloud infrastructure, it reduces the burden on users by providing the sensor resources, then sensor resources as a service through the cloud computing, and here users only focus on their applications and the data requirements. Whereas in the traditional wireless sensor networks, it requires a significant effort, time, then it requires cost for deployment and the maintenance. So here user has to own, deploy, manage and maintain the entire network, which is time consuming and costly. Therefore, the sensor cloud system offer a simpler and more efficient solution for accessing the sensor data. Now we'll see a case study for the sensor cloud architecture. Here you can see there is a farmer named John, and he compares the use of the traditional wireless sensor network with the sensor cloud architecture. Now here this image shows how the sensor cloud technology makes monitoring applications easier, faster and more cost effective. Here on the left hand side of the image, you can see the process of using the traditional wireless sensor network. Now here John owns a large agricultural field and he wants to monitor the conditions such as the temperature, humidity, soil moisture and other environmental parameters. Now before he can use the wireless sensor network, he must perform several tasks. That is, first he has to analyze his requirements and decide which sensors are needed. Okay, then he selects the additional components such as the communication modules, circuit boards and power supplies. After that, John must choose a suitable vendor by comparing the quality and the cost. He then plans where and how many sensor nodes should be deployed in the field. That is, how many sensor nodes must be placed in the field. Once the planning is complete, he purchases the equipment, deploys the sensor nodes, then connects all the components and configures the system. Now the work does not end here after the deployment. So John must regularly maintain the wireless sensor network by replacing the batteries. Then he has to repair the faults, update the components and troubleshoot the problems. Now after 3 months, when the agricultural monitoring task is completed, he removes the wireless sensor network from the field. Then 6 months later, John wants to use the system for home surveillance. So since this application requires different sensors and configurations, he must again repeat all the steps, almost all the previous steps, including the sensor selection, purchasing, deployment and maintenance. So this process is time consuming, expensive and requires a technical knowledge. Okay. Now on the right hand side of this image, you can see the use of the sensor cloud architecture. In this approach, John does not need to own or manage the sensors. He simply logs into the sensor cloud platform and selects the application he wants. Then uh, applications such as agriculture monitoring, home surveillance, then environmental monitoring. After that, the service provider, it will manage all the sensors, infrastructure, deployment, maintenance, and the processing. Okay. Then the sensor cloud architecture or the sensor cloud system, it collects the data from a shared pool of sensor. Then it processes it in the cloud and provides the useful information here in this step. Okay. It provides the useful information, reports, alerts, and analytics to John. Now, if he wants to switch from the agriculture monitoring to the home surveillance, here, easy switch to another application. He wants to switch from the agriculture to the home surveillance. So he can do it easily through the platform without any manual installation or the hardware changes. So here at the last bottom, you can see you have service provider view, where a single pool of sensors can serve multiple users at the same time. So this improves the resource utilization and also allows service providers to earn profits while reducing the cost for the users. So overall, here this image of the case study, it demonstrates the traditional wireless sensor network requires significant effort and management, whereas the sensor cloud architecture, here it offers a simple, flexible, scalable, and rental based solution, allowing the users to focus on their applications rather than hardware management. Thank you.